Bree, welcome to the show. Oh, wait, let me unmute your mic. Okay. Wait. Okay, now you're on. Can you hear me?
Oh my God! Yes, Russell, I miss
Yes.
you so much.
Oh my gosh. For those of y'all who don't know, Breanna and I used to co-host the Real Housewives of New Jersey season 10 back at AfterBuzz TV. I think I have a little bit of a throwback here. So this was
Oh my
us
God!
side by side, always getting everybody in trouble. And Angel sometimes did not know how to handle us. And this is Angel. She was our lead host on this show, Angel Saunders. How have you been? Tell me what's going on. What do you have coming up? Like, let's catch up and like do this before we jump into these like housewife madness craziness.
Oh my goodness. Okay, other than being stuck to my couch and catching up on like every franchise possible, I've just been like living my best life, still in LA. Actually, so funny, fun fact, yesterday I just closed on my home.
Oh
I
my
bought a
gosh,
home. Thank you.
congratulations.
I'm just like
How
you. I'm a big
exciting.
girl now. I'm just like
Yes.
you. Yeah, so I closed on my home in Vegas, so I'm so excited about that. I've been doing a lot of social media work with Refinery 29 in the beauty and style space. And yeah, I've just been grinding and having fun.
That is so good. I'm so proud of you.
Thank
Like I see
you.
your pop-up shops, I see and like you and I tend to miss each other. So like when we get invited to
Yes.
events, like either I'm in town and then you're like working on something because obviously you're more of an entrepreneur than I am.
Stop it. Stop
Or
it.
like you're in town and I'm, like vice versa. One of us is missing. So we always miss each other. Just like Angel. I'm always in New Orleans and I tend to miss her by a day.
Yes, I
But
miss having Angel around too. Like the way we just mesh so well.
we did. I wish, you know what? I wish I would have brought the video up because it would have. I almost did this, but I'm like, it's
I
so
know
not related to
exactly what you're
Housewives.
talking. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I, I just got back from Sydney Pride, World Pride, and Kelly Rowland performed, and my boyfriend was like, I was playing Bump Like This all day before we got there. And I was like, she's going to play this song. She's going to play this song. He's like, well, she's going to play Destiny's Child and she'll play this. And I was like, she's going to play this song.
Mhm.
So she comes out. It's like the third or fourth song. I throw my phone at him. I was like, you need to record this.
Oh,
And I just go ham at Bump Like This. And she did like a 30-second
like
rendition, but I was all over it where it was like very packed. But for some reason, like I was given space because people know that I was living and that was my moment.
mhm.
But I
Mhm.
will say, and I was going to say, I almost played that song in the intro because I wanted to see what you were going to say.
The biggest eye roll, the biggest shaking my head. You guys killed me with that song. Gosh.
You know what's funny? More often than less, that song comes on wherever I'm at, whether it's like Target now, like Target's like stepping up their game for their shopping music.
Oh, are they? I haven't noticed. You've like peeped some
Yes.
like bops in Target?
Yes. Normally it was like Ross, Dee Marshalls,
Uh-huh.
the usual.
The usual
But
suspects,
your
yeah.
boy has a little bit of money now, so now I can go to Target.
Okay.
I
We
go
have
to spend
Target.
$10 and I end up spending 120.
Okay.
Okay.
And not crying about it, not being worried about it, because it's like, you
Not
know what?
crying
I'll make
about
it
it.
back.
Throw down my American Express and I'm like, go ahead and charge it. It's fine.
We don't even ask for the total. We just give
Nope.
them the card. Look
Nope.
away.
Yes.
Hmm.
But so are you still gonna be working in LA now that you're moving to Las
Yes,
Vegas?
I'm gonna be doing a lot of back and forth because everything is bumping in LA. LA is nonstop, especially in our field, entertainment. Everything is
Yes.
always moving. So I'm definitely going to be in LA. I'm always gonna be an LA resident, an LA girl, even though I'm an East Coast girl. Don't get twisted.
Yes.
But Vegas is kind of just gonna be more of like a property investment for
Okay.
me. So it's a beautiful condo townhouse that I like, new construction. And so I'm gonna enjoy it for like a good couple months
Hmm.
because that's like my baby. It's my first home. And then
Yeah.
eventually I'm gonna rent it out. and then I'm gonna be right back in LA,
Back in
raising hell.
LA. Money
Mhm.
moves.
Money moves, raising hell, having a good time.
Told y'all she was gonna bump like this, okay?
You're so
Well,
annoying.
without without further ado, let's get into it. Right off the bat, Danielle. So, how do you feel about Danielle? She's the newest cast member, or one of the two newest cast members. She's prepping for her daughter's birthday. She's very Jersey, very Long Island. She came from True Life. I'm a Long
Staten
Island
Island
resident, I
girl.
think. Staten Island girl,
Staten Island
right?
girl.
Okay, so she's from Staten Island. You being from the OG East Coast, what are
Mhm.
your initial thoughts when she came on the show?
I felt like this is my girl. Like, I loved Danielle's energy because as soon as she said she was from Staten Island, I already knew what to expect.
Okay.
And I feel like she is really being herself, which is so refreshing. She's not putting on, and it's just nice to see someone be a big personality and it's authentic.
You know, that happens to be a lot of her feedback right now. Is everybody is
Mm.
giving her that she's not reaching, she's not pulling for anything. Like she
Mhm.
is her 100% authentic self. I pulled the
Mhm.
clip from the show actually, courtesy of NBC Universal. And it's Danielle prepping for Valentina's birthday, and I think it's the cutest thing. Everybody, take a look at this.
When you're walking her in, you're showcasing her. No, not like that. And then you.
I say hi.
Yes, but like this. Oh my God, Sarah, hi.
That's not Sarah. She's not here.
All right, well, just make up a name. Okay, ready? Please welcome your birthday girl, Valentina Loren!
Okay, first off, her daughter is such a spitfire. She said, "That's not Sarah.
That she's not here. Like,
She's not here."
that's Danielle. That is Danielle's doppelganger.
Look, and you know what's funny is like her and oh my god, I'm drawing a blank right now just because I have so much going on. I'm just so important. No, not important at all
I'm
whatsoever.
busy.
But Nate was
Mhm.
they go in to talk about it. He's like, "Are you happy that the kids have your personality? Because you've always wanted these kids to have your personality."
Mhm.
And she is the epitome of the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So much personality. I'm honestly kind of nervous for her when when Valentina is like a teenager and she's independent and she's just like really just like bursting with energy and just different stuff. I feel like because they're so alike, they're going to be like at each other.
You know what? It's refreshing though to see that that generation, I don't know if that's still considered Generation Z, but
Mm,
that generation has some personality. I feel like right now we're in this zone of all these young adults that are entering their 20s now are very much like, well, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I think
yeah.
I'll get an Uber. I really don't want to work. I don't want to drive. I kind of just don't want to do anything. Like, you can catch me on TikTok. And then on TikTok, they're like, hey, everybody, it's me on TikTok. And then in
And
person, they're
it's
like,
fake.
I don't know.
Yeah, and that's like the perfect example of like being fake because in person you can barely hold a conversation, but then when you're by yourself on a camera and you're getting views from strangers, it's when all of a sudden you turn it on. And so,
Yeah.
like you said, it is really nice to see someone so young and that's just who she is.
That little girl she's so sassy.
She
She's sassy.
is.
And I kind of want, she reminds me of a mini Melania now.
I can see it with the bows.
Yes.
See it.
We're revisiting Melania.
You know what's so funny that you made that comparison, and not to jump too far ahead,
Uh-huh.
but it's Danielle's life kind of storyline is low key mirroring Teresa.
OG
As
Teresa?
OG Teresa, like,
Yes.
yeah, it really is in the strangest way. And I feel like it happened by accident. So I'm really interested to see how that's going to play out as the seasons continue.
You know what I also like about Danielle at this time is like she is extravagant. She's putting everything out there for her, you know, for her kids. Like her kids come first.
Hmm.
And she is still living, and like I don't want her to take this as shade in any way, shape, or form, but she's still living somewhat of a humble life. She
Mhm.
has a gorgeous home, but it's not unnecessary. It's not out of place. It's not
Mhm.
non-functional. It's
Mhm.
very functional. You get to a house like Teresa had with Joe Giudice, and that house was so massive, there was unfunctional space, especially in her
Yes.
great room.
Mhm.
And to me, I've never wanted a home where I have so much space that I can't fill it with something. You
Right.
know, it's
Right.
your home is meant to be warm. It's not meant to be cold.
Yes.
I mean,
And
if you look around my house, I have plenty of seating. There's tones of brown and
it's
cream.
cozy.
Like, yes.
It's cozy, it's comfortable. You're not gonna and I always love a home that I can walk into and I'm not afraid to touch things or sit
Yes.
down. Like, I feel like I can be comfortable. And I think that's funny that you said that because she did make a comment in the last episode, I think, when she's like, if anybody says my home is cute, I'm gonna go crazy. And I think that's such a housewife, like a real housewife thing to think.
Mhm.
But in this case, it's okay that you if you have a cute home because it's cozy, it's beautiful, it's nice, it's like you said, it's functional.
And there's only 4 of them. We don't need
Yeah,
unnecessary of anything.
yeah,
Like, 4 is very functional. 2 in
yeah.
this apartment, we make it
Mhm.
work.
Yeah, you make it work. And so I think she has just enough what she needs. Maybe as her kids gets older and they might need more space or if they get some pets or something, I get it. But I think she's in a great I just hope she doesn't allow the other ladies to influence her financial habits.
I hope not either. I think she's
Yeah.
doing good. She's on the right track. She has a fine
Oh,
husband. I mean,
here. Here.
he is gorgeous. Look here.
God took his time making
Yes.
makeup. Oh, let me tell you something.
Tell me.
That man can get it Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, twice on Friday, 4 times on Saturday, okay? I cannot. The way she fawns over him and she's like, "I wanna take care of you." That's a man! That's a man. That alone
Look,
got
if he
me.
has a brother that bats for the other team, that doesn't mind staying here with me and Shane, you are welcome. The
First of
door is
all
open. I will give you the lockbox code, and it'll be
first
right
of
here at the front door. And let yourself right on in.
you're not about to be greedy and have 2 good men. That's not about to happen. That's not going to happen, no.
Look, baby. It's a rough economy, and the way the house prices are going here in California, you need 3 to 4 incomes. So if I get another one and another one, whatever pays the
Okay,
bills.
well, you better get an outhouse or something for me, because Imma need to Imma need to be in there somewhere if you got all them incomes in that one place.
Look, we're
But,
trying to make
yes,
7 figures because 6 is not enough.
not in LA.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, Nate, I really feel like Nate is the pinnacle of what every woman wants a man to be. Like he's someone who he's other than just like being physically attractive, like he takes care of his family. You can tell like he lives to make sure his wife is happy and comfortable. And it's the fact that he knew the type of woman Danielle is, and he's like, I accept you for as loud and boisterous as you are, and I want to add value to you. I want to make sure that you're comfortable and you're not living less than what you deserve, not even what you're used to, less than what you deserve, and able to maintain that, period.
You know what I love about him the most is that not only is he fit, which is
Hmm.
nice, but you can tell by his body fat percentage that he also does not mind going to the buffet or getting some ice cream and enjoying a piece of cheesecake. Okay. And
Yeah,
that's what we appreciate in any man.
we love a real king. That is a real king.
The real cheesecake eaters of New Jersey. Okay. Well, wait a minute. We have a comment actually from Ronnie who is out today, which is why Bree joined us on the Real Housewives of New Jersey recap. And we also, again, if I haven't said it enough, thank you so much for joining me. Like I've missed you. I missed your energy.
Same.
I've missed just our banter and getting in
Yes.
trouble. I missed all of that.
Thank you for having me.
So Ronnie said, big fan of Danielle. I really enjoy seeing her uplift and motivate her kids. Being humble is nice, but empowering your kids is really special. Also, Danielle is with Nate. Yummy.
Yes. Yes,
And again, for
yummy.
anybody who missed it, that
There
is
you go.
Nate.
Ain't no missing it anymore.
And definitely there's no lack of thirst there because he is just watering everything that needs to be watered.
You know,
Okay.
to like piggyback off of the comment about taking care of her kids and making sure her kids feel special, I also want to acknowledge the fact that Danielle is very aware of the dysfunction that she grew up with, and
Mm-hmm.
she's making a conscious effort to break those generational curses. And I think that speaks volumes to just the type of mother and type of person that she is, to just be that self-aware and vulnerable enough to put that on camera, present it to the world, and also say, I want to do better for my kids. And no matter how big it might be to other people in their view, this is what I feel like my kids deserve, and this is what I want to do for them because I didn't get that.
Do you think that Danielle is maybe the missing piece to Teresa and Joe's relationship because she has one that's very similar with her own brother?
If I think Danielle is the missing piece to
Do you
Danielle
think
and
that
Jennifer?
she could potentially be the words of wisdom that actually bridges them together?
No, no. Love Danielle. No, only because I can't take advice from somebody who still has the same issue I have.
Okay.
That's like me going to a dentist and he's that coming talking to me with halitosis, telling me I need to floss more. Like I'm taking your advice very lightly. So I feel like if Danielle can figure out how to fix her relationship with her brother, maybe. But I also feel like her relation the storyline with the conflict with her brother, it's not giving 100%.
Do you think there's like a shady aspect that's missing that we haven't heard yet?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes. I think so. And I feel like someone like Margaret is going to find what that is.
You think Margaret's gonna be the one that brings that out? Because
Margaret is nosy.
look, Jen has been taking the place. Jennifer Aydin has been taking the place lately of really being the instigator, which I
Hmm.
mean, she's always been an instigator. She calls herself a comedian, like Ronnie has pointed out. But she's going above and beyond this year to meet up with the housewives individually and every single one of the women at that point to kind of bring up history, like she calls it.
Hmm.
In
Hmm.
my aspect, my mom always told me, do not tell someone about someone else
Hmm.
because if they end up liking them at some point, they're going to mention, oh, well, Russell said that he actually doesn't like you because of X, Y, and Z. And then they're both going to end up turning on you. Versus
Hmm.
if you just let the water run and play out the way that it's supposed to, everyone will find their place.
Hmm.
And I feel like
Hmm.
Jen right now is that person who is trying to navigate the waters, but it's continuously biting her in the behind.
Yes, I agree with that completely. I do. I totally agree with that. And I think Jennifer is doing it mainly to target more, what's her name? Margaret more. And I feel like she's more of a digger for
Mm,
someone who's wronged her first. So
okay.
maybe if Jen or if Danielle stays in Jennifer's good graces and
Mhm.
doesn't push her to that, maybe it won't come to that. But I could see Jennifer being the one to find some type of information on that situation. I could see that too.
Do you think speaking of Jennifer,
Mhm.
Ronnie also left another comment. He said he has to head into a meeting, but have a great show and always
Thank
remember
you.
Jennifer Aydin is lackluster and her bad behavior is due to her seeing herself being phased out.
No, phased out.
Here's a
Oh.
question for you. If you could see anybody getting eliminated from the show, who would you want to see go first at this point? Teresa?
Melissa.
Oh, Melissa. Oh, Melissa.
No.
Interesting. Why Melissa?
You cannot tell me one storyline Melissa has had that does not involve Teresa. You can't tell me anything about Melissa that's like been consistent
Hmm.
throughout her tenure as Real Housewives.
Interesting, because everyone, including Ronnie, is Team Gorga all day.
What? No. This is Melissa's punishing season. The way that this season is about to play out, it's going to be literally everybody is going to be looking at Melissa like there's something wrong with her.
Really?
I think so, and I think it's overdue.
But here's my opinion on Melissa, and we'll continue moving forward with because I know all the 10,000 people that are watching right now because they're just dying to know what we have to say about this. We'll talk about Rachel's house in just a minute, but um I feel like Melissa has positioned herself very well. And I'll tell you why. A-list celebrities are aligning themselves with Melissa versus housewife Bravo celebrities are aligning themselves with Teresa. So I can see what you're saying about how she hasn't had a storyline without Teresa, which I completely agree with. However, I think she's positioned herself to have the upper hand in stardom because she has aligned herself with A-list celebrities like Elaine Goldsmith Thompson, which is Jennifer Lopez's production co-producer manager. She's been seen with Jennifer Lopez. She's, it's been seen with Kim Kardashian. Like she has these
Mhm.
upper hands versus
Mhm.
Teresa is seen with other housewives and Real Housewives of New York and Real Housewives of Miami. She met up with Alexia in New York, but I haven't seen Teresa really take on that role of stardom.
I
So I'm
think
curious
it's
to know who Bravo would choose between the two.
th- oh my god, Bravo would choose Teresa.
Really?
I absolutely think Bravo would choose Teresa because one, Teresa is the OG.
She is
Like
the OG.
Teresa is the only one that's been there. Besides her leaving to have to go to jail, which was beyond her control, Teresa's been there from day one, constantly, always had something fresh, new, some type of new addition to her storyline. Melissa has never had anything going on without Teresa. Even like Melissa bringing brought onto the show was because of Teresa. And so if they were to say they were to pull Teresa out, what would Melissa do?
I feel like Melissa would end up fighting with Jennifer Aydin on a regular. And I
Mhm.
think this is what I think. And I love Danielle. I'm team Danielle because I love her so much. I think she's a great addition. I feel like the storyline would have to do with Melissa and Danielle going head to head.
I can see that
Mhm.
because I feel like Melissa is kind of intimidated by Danielle's energy. Not
Mhm.
intimidated, but she's kind of like turned off by it and she doesn't know how to handle it. I think Danielle is a lot of personality for Melissa, and she doesn't do well with bigger stars than her. Because let's
Mm.
remember, Melissa, and to go off of what you said about her aligning herself with more of Hollywood, remember Melissa wanted to be a pop star. Like
She did.
Melissa just wants to be a star in any
Yes.
capacity. Whereas Teresa's fine with just being a housewife, having her cookbooks, raising her daughters, doing what she does on Bravo. Like she's fine. She's doing, little commercials here and there. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like at the end of the day, when you think Jersey Housewives, you think Teresa Giudice. Like that's just what it is. And also, Melissa, with the examples that you said with her fighting with Danielle and stuff, again, that's examples of Melissa's storyline being centered around someone else, like
Mm.
having to have a problem. Melissa can't stand alone with her own storyline. The whole I want a baby thing, very short lived.
That was our
Um,
season.
yes,
And we
yes.
were doing Jersey news, and I did a teaser, and I wish I would have known we were going to talk about this because I would have pulled the clip. but I had said Melissa and Joe's family is expanding, and you and Angel looked at me like, what? But at that time they had gotten an au pair to help at the house.
Remember that. And she was acting like she wanted to have a baby. So I'm like, stuff like that, like trolling and dumb stuff like that. Like I'm, you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just don't see, she's never stood alone with her own storyline that didn't involve someone else. Even freaking Margaret has had a storyline where she would talk about her relationship with her kids and how she wishes it would be better. And then Margaret's mom with Marge Sr. Everybody has stood their own except Melissa, in my opinion.
Do you feel like maybe Teresa has something to do with that? Like she has an influence on the way Melissa's story plays out on the show?
I don't know. It would be foolish and naive of me to say no.
Hmm.
But I also feel like Teresa doesn't have to do much to make Melissa go back.
Because if we want to play tell the truth, we know that Rob and China got canceled off of E because of the Kardashian Jenners. And we know that Black China should have won that court case. It's a rough spot because am I a fan of Blac Chyna? No. Do I like the Kardashians? Yes. Do I, if you're looking at a legal standpoint, and do you think of the influence that the Kardashians have over the E network because they were so powerful versus if Rob and China's show would have continued to get pushed through and that's why China got canceled, then I say yes. So if she lost, if there was an income loss lawsuit, looking at it a legal standpoint, I feel like China should have won.
True. Yeah.
You know, and the Kardashians have more influence. So I don't know a panel who does not know the Kardashians.
Right.
You know, I don't know anybody that they would have thrown on the jury stand that would have not known those girls.
Right. There's no way of finding someone that had no type of bias or no type of knowledge towards that name. So I agree with that. I totally agree with that.
So I feel like when it comes to Teresa, this could potentially be an influence. And here's the thing is I'm not a fan of Teresa right now. And I know we're kind of just like, we're going on a tangent. Yes, I'm not a fan of Teresa right now. I think she's doing great for herself in the respect of she got rid of Joe. She now has a new husband. They're prospering. I feel like her husband is chasing fame.
Really?
Yes, I feel like he's very much all about the cameras. He's giving me John Travolta with plastic surgery. Is what he gives me when I look at him.
It's the cheeks and the way he pierces his lips. Yeah.
Is that what it is? Because I'm like, I just keep seeing John Travolta, but I see him in the light of Grease, but with plastic surgery.
But aged.
Yes, and I'm like, I don't know. He gets along well with the guys, as we've seen. But you know, is it really Joe and Melissa that are the problem for Teresa, or is it really Teresa that's the problem with Joe and Melissa, or is it Louis who came into the picture? Because in the confessional, Gia had said everything was going well, and then my mom started dating Louis, and then she doesn't know what happened.
I peeped that. But then it made me say, well, why is it that every time Teresa is with a man, Joe Gorga has an issue with the man? Because we all know that like ex-husband Joe and Joe Gorga didn't get along. And then Joe was like all for Louis, and there were some red flags, but we're gonna support my sister on camera, or like, you know, just do enough to show that we're concerned, but we still like him. And now you're anti-Louis, but all of a sudden you're excited to see Joe when you happen to run into each other at a hotel lobby and have someone there to capture the moment, and you're hugging and smiling. And you're not about to tell me Joe Gorga and Joe Giudice had any type of conversation in between his time after being deported to now for them to squash some type of beef. So how does the energy just switch on and off like that? It's Joe gives me he's the red flag and he's the problem.
I can see that, but coming from personal experience with my
Mhm.
own ex brother-in-laws,
Mhm.
there are moments where I hated them because of certain reasons. And I mean, like, we didn't talk to each other, walked into the same room, didn't say a word to each other.
Mhm.
We're not all huggy kissy like how that video was portrayed, but we can walk into a room and be cordial with each other. But at the end of the day, we know that there's an underlying issue that could
Mhm.
potentially all hell could break loose still,
Mhm.
despite that. And I think maybe that's where Joe and Joe are.
Mhm.
You know, as like there is so much history. They became acquainted as kids.
Mhm.
So I think there is some sort of love there. And I think like brothers, you can squash things, get over it, and then blow up just as fast. You know, I say it all the time. My brothers and sisters, we can fuss and cuss, but if you come
Mhm.
against us, we're like pit bulls.
Right.
You know, but
Right.
then there is that period where like we might not text or call each other for a couple weeks because we got to get over some stuff. But then it's like nothing ever happened. So
Right.
do I think it was convenient that there was a camera there? Yes.
It screams opportunist. I'm just saying.
And like
Just saying.
it's that fine line of playing the game and living your truth. But
Mhm.
again, like we had both agreed on, Danielle is doing a great job of just living her truth and
Yeah.
letting the cameras capture her life.
Mhm.
But going into our other newest housewife, Rachel. Let's see. I have a video here of Rachel. I think she's a great time. I think
Yeah.
had she not made it on the Real Housewives of New Jersey, I think she had potentially missed opportunity for Jersey Shore and MTV because she would have fit in perfect if
Yeah.
there would have been no Snooki, or maybe no, I think JWoww is a whole different scenario, but no Snooki or maybe no Sam. Let's
Yeah.
check her
I
out.
partied at the Jersey Shore. Like, I loved the Guidette I once was. I was fist pumping, drinking all day, wearing cheetah or leopard, whichever you prefer.
Rachel gives too classy for Jersey Shore though.
Does she?
Like,
Or I don't know about the Jersey Shore. Like, so enlighten me
oh,
on the customs because I'm only used to Newport Beach or Laguna Beach.
oh yeah. Like just looking at the way they were portrayed on the show, I
Hmm.
feel like Rachel probably wouldn't if she was casted, I don't feel like she would have gotten along with the girls because she gives like better than this, like upper class. Like, yeah, I'll party with the fools, but I'm going right back home to my, my beautiful home and like in Jersey, like in North Jersey, and just living my best life. I don't feel like I feel like where she is in her lifestyle now is perfect as a real housewife.
You know, I think she fits great.
Yeah.
I do. She's what, 31?
I didn't know she was that young.
She's like 31, 32. Ronnie,
Mhm.
so Ronnie has his perspective of he loves him, he loves him a Golden Girl housewife.
Okay.
Versus I reminded him when Kim Zolciak came onto the Real Housewives of Atlanta, she was only 29, looking like she was 42. But she was only 29. And so I'm like, and Melissa came on to Real Housewives of New Jersey when she was like
Yeah.
30, 31.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I think this is the new generation of housewives. I think Teresa's turning into the new Caroline.
Mhm. Mhm.
And, you know, Danielle and Rachel are turning into the new Melissa.
Yeah. I
Melissa
think this is a
Jacqueline.
Yeah, I think this is a really nice, it's a graceful transition that they're doing in a turn of generations. Because it's just like the same way when we were talking about, not Rachel,
Danielle.
Danielle and the relationship with her brother. And they were saying like, is this all it takes with this generation now? You have a fallout on social media and it pulls your family apart. Like that just shows the huge disconnect between
Mhm.
this like current new face group and who's been here. So I really like the evolution that they're going. I feel like everybody's like really melting together well.
I think so too. And it's been a long time since they actually had a cast that was all quality.
Yes.
I think Danielle Staub was great for television, but I think she's a trashy individual.
Yeah, quality was not there.
Yeah, so she's a trashy individual. Is she compelling, and do people want to talk about her? Yes.
Hmm.
But when the twins were on, that was a very weird time in Housewives.
The
When
twins.
Yeah, there were it was when Siggy was on, or Siggy Sagi.
Oh, Siggy Fickler. Yes. Hmm.
Yes.
Hmm.
But there was twins that were on this series as well who only lasted about 2 seasons because they weren't really giving.
So
Which then brings me back to
forgettable.
your point of like Melissa not having her own storyline, but she's
Hmm.
been writing, like, who's writing on whose coattails? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
is Melissa like the young one that Teresa's jealous and envious of, and so she doesn't like her and wants to cause trouble with her, and she wants to be main character? Or is Melissa like, you're not about to be famous without us, because last thing that I'm gonna be is the unfamous sibling or the unfamous in-law.
Yeah, and I think Teresa is actually helping Melissa stay on the show. If Melissa didn't I feel like Teresa knows if she was to walk up in that office and say, I want Joe and Melissa out, it would be the end of their relationship for real, for real. But I feel like Teresa doesn't care that much to want them off the show.
I was gonna
Um,
say, why don't you think she has done that yet if they're not getting along? Because they're doing press about each other.
Right, they are. But I think Teresa recognizes that that would be, like I said, the end of her relationship with her brother because
Mm.
let's be real, Joe Gorga loves the spotlight. He's doing
Yes,
a
he does.
one-man comedy show like he's some seasoned comedian and nobody asked for it. So
Would you not
she
go see it?
knows.
What if the tickets were like
No.
$25? What would be your max that you would pay?
I wouldn't even be a volunteer staffer putting it together, organizing it. No, because for what? It's literally watching just a troll. Like he's just a troll to me.
Okay.
So I feel like because Teresa recognizes that in her brother, that she's like, this is his life, and if I kick him off the show, he's gonna hate me for real. So
Mhm.
I'd rather just keep him and his boring ass wife on, and let them spin whatever stories they want because she knows
Mm.
that she's always going to be a fan favorite and she has nothing to lose.
So do you also think that maybe she has a bit of hopefulness that someday and some point that her and Joe will rekindle their relationship?
I think she does.
Mm.
Do you? You don't? He's like,
No, here's my thought on it. I feel like when it comes to their relationship, I feel like it's going on for years. There's always
mhm,
been an issue. I think sometimes, and especially being the youngest brother in my family, I feel like when you step out of line, they see you as the punk kid who just doesn't understand.
yeah.
But there are times where it doesn't matter what age range you fall in your brother and sisterhood, you can be the more mature one, or you can be the one that's, excelling better in life. And I think that's
Hmm.
a hard pill to swallow when it does happen. And I think
Hmm.
at one point, Joe and Melissa were doing a lot better than Teresa, and Teresa did not want to swallow that pill. So she was trying
Hmm.
to drag them down. I think she sees this as her punk kid brother.
Hmm.
And what I could see for Joe and Melissa actually is having a spinoff on HGTV and flipping houses, because they're in their like third or fourth house since they've been on the show. And I think every single house that they've had has been beautiful.
Okay. I'm glad you said that. I was about to eat that house up. That house is so to me like I've watched TikTok, like I've gone down to the TikTok rabbit hole with this,
Okay.
and I hate
Do you really?
the outside is not symmet. The windows are not symmetrical.
Okay.
They're off. There's some windows that are off centered. The interior, she has like this. Some of it, like the themes don't match. They're not consistent. Like in some places, she has a modern look, and then there's another, but then there's like a rustic aspect to it. There's
Mm,
no consistency. There's one place where she has a huge chandelier, like different chandeliers that don't match the aesthetic of the rest of the house, it's a mess to me. It's a mess. And she needs to stop telling people that her husband built it because he's going to lose business. Keep that to yourself.
I think, but I will say, I think Teresa's house by far with Joe Giudice has been the gaudiest house that I've seen on Housewives. I think Jennifer Aydin's house is very cozy and warm. I think she did a beautiful job at laying that out. I think Danielle's house is beautiful. I haven't got enough of Rachel Fuda's house.
Yeah, no.
Understand the
All we
flow
know
and
is that
consistency.
she has neighbors. All we know is she has neighbors, and it's not as big as Teresa's house.
That's Rachel Fessler. I'm sorry, Jen Fessler.
Yes,
Fessler. She has a very country house, but I still haven't seen much of that either.
Yeah.
But I do like, from what I've seen, and I haven't gone down the TikTok rabbit hole, so I could be missing elements to Joe and Melissa's house. But I will say again, like, it's oh, my brother has something nicer than I do. I mean, Teresa's very gaudy, so like she might not see it like that. But you know, for those fans that don't go down the rabbit hole and that just see certain topical and certain one shots for the confessionals, it's like, wow, that's a beautiful house. Versus Teresa, it was like, you got gold and iron and ovals and circles and squares and a great room and a room of shambles, and you got a lot of things going on.
Yeah, I agree. I also agree that she was a little jealous probably of Joe and Melissa's relationship to see how loving they were. And I think that's a huge aspect of the relationship she was missing with her husband. And that could have played a part in why she was so hard on them all the time too.
I mean, speaking of hard on, Jenn and Melissa.
I don't know where that was going. I thought you were about to show another picture of Nate.
Should we do it? Wait a minute.
One time for the one time.
Let's take a look at him again. Damn. Should I show the audience your man? Yes. Evan is gorgeous.
Mr. G.
Let me just take this little banner off so everyone could just know how to spell his first and last name.
Mr. G. Y'all call him Mr. G.
You know what? Before we go on to Melissa and Jen meeting up, who right now are your top 3 housewife husbands? Like, who has the sexiest man?
Oh, okay. Like, we're only going off physique.
No, like overall, like sexiest man, like you just give me everything that I've been looking for in a man. Like, you might not have the perfect body, but your attitude and your mindset and your masculinity and your just everything that adds up, like brings you up to a 9.5.
Evan, Nate, and Frank. And I'ma stick beside him.
Can I tell you, I hated that photo with a passion. I was like, what in the Easter Bunny Rabbit and the Bunny Fufu is going on?
He's the only one that could pull that off besides Joe Gorga.
Frank very much has the personality to pull that off and like to just own it.
Yeah.
But you know who I was surprised who came out really good in their photo?
Who, Bill?
Bill.
Oh, I didn't even see this.
Yes.
Mr. Aydin.
Bill's photo came out so good. Like, he's one of the top, just like the shot in general, it's beautiful. You know, like Louis was good. Like, they were all good shots, but like Bill's really I don't know about John, but
please, I don't. I can't. I'm sorry.
I don't know about John, but I think John's a good man. But I don't know about his shot in this photo.
Very good man.
Considering he used to be a model.
But Bill was giving, like, his smiles, cheekbones, everything. Oh, that's a good picture.
He looked. It was giving me sexy Dracula.
Yeah. I like that.
Yes, it was giving me sexy Dracula. It was giving me sexy Dr. Jekyll and Hyde. It was giving me that.
It was like come, let me make you sick, but cure you. You know?
Yes.
Yeah, let me break your heart and then put it back together.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because you're
Mm-hmm.
eternally mine.
Yes.
He had that smolder, and I was like, okay, Bill.
He did. He got it in him.
Now I know how he had another side piece. You just get that
Right?
look.
Now we know where all that seduction came from.
We know where it came from.
Yes.
So Jen and Melissa made up, and like this one actually surprised me because
Yeah.
just last season we had this. So it surprised me that either one of them actually would be willing to meet up, and it was very cordial. It was very calm. There were
Very
no
amicable.
escalations of
Mhm.
attitudes or any of those things. There was none of it. I forgot to plug in my computer, so we're gonna plug that in.
Mhm.
But I was like, wow. And like neither one of them were offended by the other person's opinion, which does not happen.
It never happens. Okay.
Tell me.
Jen is cool for me. Like right now, I Jennifer is very emotional and vulnerable, so she's raw. So she comes in hard. So I have a bit of a soft spot for her.
Okay.
But we could not act like Jennifer isn't very calculating in this situation with meeting up with Melissa.
Ooh.
Like,
And
do you feel like it's honestly like organic that she genuinely cares and wants to be friends with her?
no, I don't feel like it's
Okay.
organic whatsoever because I think
Okay.
Jen always has an ulterior motive in everything that
Yes.
she does because she plays that part very well.
Yes. Okay, good. I'm glad we're on the same page about that.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I'm
Yeah.
just surprised that Melissa's not A, reading through it, or B, that the conversation didn't escalate when, when Jennifer brought up Margaret and Margaret asking Melissa or telling Melissa to leave Joe for a ball player. Like Melissa tends to be very protective of her marriage
Mhm.
when it comes to certain cast members. So it surprised me when Jennifer said that either A, she didn't become overly protective of Margaret, or B, she wasn't hypersensitive of the situation of it being brought up to her.
Yes. And it gives the vibe of Melissa saw it coming, like she was anticipating it. She
Mm,
didn't look shocked at all. She didn't look caught off guard. She looked like, I knew this was coming. I already know how I'm going to play this. I'm not going to throw anyone under the bus. I'm going to own a little, like just enough to not lie, but still not give too much.
mm.
That's how I view it, because for Melissa to have that conversation with Jennifer is not normal. It's not like she's sitting with Jackie.
Mm.
It was weird. It was weird how calm she was.
Actually, I didn't see much of Jackie this episode. Speaking of Jackie.
Yeah, because she's just a friend of now.
Yeah, but like, I know you haven't watched the Real Housewives of Miami yet, but those
Mhm.
friend roles are so prominent through the entire season. Like, those girls don't miss a confessional and they don't miss an episode. I'm sure that there's no obligation for them to be a part of it, but they're
Mhm.
always there, which surprised me that I didn't really see Jackie. And I'm like,
I'm wondering if that's leading up to her showing more as her issues with Danielle builds up.
okay.
And maybe they're limiting her, because also we know that we can assume that Jackie took a break because her health was being affected by the issues she was having on the show, because she
Mm-hmm.
basically said that. So I feel like she's also kind of careful with how much she puts into her scenes also.
Got it. Oh, see, I
Yeah.
need you to stop by more so you can get me and Ronnie together because sometimes we go down these rabbit holes of like, this is great. They're great. We love everybody. And then it's like,
I'm like,
it's
yeah,
nice to have
something
different
right.
perspective because he and I think very similarly. And you and I chop it up very well. However, you have a women's number one, you have a women's perspective. And so you're seeing and you're keen into things that Ronnie and I don't necessarily keen into. So it's nice because if you look at the after show recaps all over YouTube, it's all men and it's all gay men at that. But like,
yeah, they are.
But like, we're like at the end of the day, we're not women. Like we are gay men, but we don't pick up on those little isms and those little fluctuations of a brow twitch or of things like that, or like facial expressions, things like that. I mean, being Hispanic, we pick up on things like your breathing pattern has changed. What's wrong?
I have not heard of that before. That is everything. I love that. Love that. How are you paying that close breathing check? What's going on? Your heart rate is increasing.
Your heart rate is up. Who are you with?
I love that. I'm stealing that. I'm taking that. That's amazing.
Look, Hispanic people, we look for things that's like, why would you think of that? And it's like, why are you breathing like that?
Right.
What did you do wrong that you don't want me to find out about? Because your breath
his
pattern is different.
Yeah. Whereas we're like, Black women are like, you piercing your lips together. You got something to say? Or you squint your eyes. You can't see what you got a problem? You want me to come closer? You still can't see me? Like, it's so funny that you say that because we all have our things that we look for.
Yeah. And again, like, gay men can't pick up on things that only women know.
Mm-hmm.
It's a sisterhood. It's girl code. And we saw that on MTV, like girl code, guy code.
Yeah.
There's a girl code that we're not picking up on. So it's refreshing to have you on to pick up on the girl code because we're like, oh. Meanwhile, I'm trying to figure out how Nate is breathing. I'm like, I'm trying to get his breathing pattern down.
Right.
I just want to know.
Are you happy? Take a quick inhale. Let me see. Mm-hmm. Are you happy at home?
Because, Melania Trump, she blinked twice. So we knew what was up there.
Yeah, we knew something was going on.
I'm like, are you okay? You all right? Hold on. Let's send the team in to rescue you.
A struggle.
But
yeah,
going back to Jen and Melissa, I'm really curious to know how Jennifer is going to end up playing out this season. Because in my mind and in my perspective, she's in limbo right now. Mm-hmm. She's very here and there. Mm-hmm. She's very controversial, like she always is. So she's always loud mouth, bringing it up. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if she is just doing the most so she can keep up with Danielle. And that she has some sort of, so she captures the audience of like Left Eye from TLC always said, all press is good press, even if it was bad press. And I feel like Danielle might be, Jennifer Aydin might be in that mindset right now. Is any press and any camera time is good because if it's on me and I make the edit, then I have a percentage of the show.
Oh, interesting perspective.
So I'm just curious to know where she's going to end up on the spectrum of things because right now she's kind of everywhere.
I feel like Jennifer isn't the smartest, but she is she's clever and she's calculating and she's very methodical and knows how to get the reactions that she wants. And so I feel like Jennifer is leading up to drop a bomb about Margaret and Melissa and their relationship.
Shady.
I think Jennifer is building up to give us like, Margaret told us that you've, been on vacations with a secret boyfriend, or like, I think she's building up to to make it seem like Margaret has dirt on Melissa, spread it around, and it got back to Jen. And now Jennifer is looking out for Melissa's best interest by telling her, you have to be careful about Margaret.
Oh.
I think that's what it's coming to. I think it's just too early in the season for Jennifer to drop it. And so she's waiting for that climax in the episodes to be like, okay, well, now we're all on family vacation. The husbands are here. Now I'm gonna drop it.
Not family vacation. I hate when they ruin family vacation. Look, I just want to see a vacation go well. And what I mean by go well is I want to see them on the jet skis. I want to see them having fun. Like back when Joe Gorga ran through the beach house and he fell over because he was so drunk.
What?
That's what I want to see.
When I tell you that scene always makes me die. No, that's true. But I want them to have those days.
Yes.
But it won't be real. It won't be a real housewife vacation if there's not one blow up.
I know, but here's the thing is I'm just so tired. I'm so tired of the blow-ups. I am. And it can happen in the season throughout the season, but I want to see 1 or 2 good episodes of them just having a great time, enjoying each other's company. Like it doesn't need to be drama. Like let's get drunk. Let's not know who we are. Let's fall over. Let's not remember what happened the day before, and let everybody remind you, like, girl, you took off your top and you jumped into the lake. Or like, Nate, you put on a Speedo and then you took it off and then you jumped into the lake.
I think you'll get that. But I think it will be Teresa's wedding.
But Joe and Melissa don't go, as we already know.
We know they don't go, but I think that's your episode of not having a blow up, I mean.
Okay, I got it. Got it. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, look, let's fast forward to still on Jennifer Aydin, fighting everybody per usual. This was just within the last look, when I tell you, I'm gonna play this video clip. Let me just play this clip and then
Jen and Rachel got into it at Teresa's household party.
I felt bad about your terrible nose job. John, let's go. Don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out. There's no door, asshole.
Look, I don't even know, uncomfortable situations make me uncomfortable. So why you gotta talk about my sister's nose job like that? Like what? Like
she's deflecting.
And let me just show you, we're not even halfway through the season yet, and Jennifer Aydin damn near fought everybody. So we have Margaret and Jennifer. We have, let me see, where we at? We have Teresa and Jennifer and Margaret. And then we have Dolores and Jennifer.
Jennifer don't want that problem.
Oh my God. And Dolores used to be a probation officer.
The whole nose thing, it's just Jennifer deflecting and not wanting to own she's done. Margaret is completely right. And I'm not even Team Margaret. But Margaret is completely right when she says Jennifer does not have any accountability. Because Jennifer knows she's dead ass wrong and has no reason to be calling up Margaret's friends to give them her side of her relationship with Margaret. So for her to talk to who was it? Jen Fessler?
Rachel.
And then Rachel about her nose. And at first Jennifer was like, well, she got a bad when she was trying to make up with her, and she was like, oh, well, you had a bad nose job. I am insecure about my nose job too. Like, you have a bad nose job and I have a bad nose job. That's not what you were saying.
Didn't her husband do her nose job?
I'm pretty sure. Wife who needs to stop bragging about her husband's abilities and keep it to herself.
I know where I'm not getting my nose job.
Exactly.
But if anybody who does good nose jobs wants to come take care of this and maybe sharpen up my tip a little bit.
What you want to do? Oh, you want to do the tip?
Just look, when I was 10, 11, 12-ish. And line drive came to me because I played sports growing up. Line drive came to me. I caught it, but my baseball glove, the pouch ripped and it came through and it knocked me right in the nose. And so like my bridge is wider than it used to be.
Ooh, that's a bad hit.
It was like, bah! And then I had to get carried off the field and they put me in the dugout and I was crying. I was bleeding. It was like dramatic. It was my moment. Someone carried me out and I was like, oh, my face. I don't think I can ever play again. It was my Marsha Brady moment.
I'm weak.
And now I need my Jennifer Aydin, Rachel Fuda moment where I'm like, who knows who's this?
Yeah.
So that I can have my Bill moment.
Yeah, I don't love Rachel's nose, but it's the job she got done.
It is.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, and I think she's a beautiful girl. Yeah. And that's the thing is, in my perspective, she was beautiful. She didn't have to touch her face, which I didn't know if any of those pictures were pre or post surgery because I haven't, I don't know her that far yet, but like, looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
Everyone to each their own when it comes to artificial fillers or any of those things. Like, we have a friend that just posted the other day, you and I, who just posted that they're looking for models to get some little things done. And I was like, I was looking up online like what these were, and I was like, wait, I might want a little pop of Botox or a little
touch
under eye filler. But I was like, you know what? Hispanic men get finer with age. We're like red wine. We just keep getting better. So I'm gonna let that naturally play out. And I'm going to let all the sugars ferment and I'm going to let it all just come to surface the way that it's supposed to. And I'm like, we'll let that work.
Yeah, let it marinate.
Yeah, look, because the way I'm looking at these people that I went to high school with who peaked in high school, I'm like,
those are the worst.
Your moment is done. Uh-oh, did I lose you? I think I lost you.
Did you?
Oh, you're back. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let me tell you. Yeah. But again, like Rachel is a beautiful girl. Like I don't think she needed any work. I hope Jennifer stops with her work before she goes too far.
Too far, yeah.
Because we know people that just keep getting nose jobs and it just gets smaller and smaller. There's less and less pieces to cut out. You're getting closer and closer to your skeleton bones. Okay, so just call it quits while you're ahead. But I will say I do appreciate that they took Valentina's birthday as an opportunity to clear the air. And it was very forward of like, in the essence of, you said I had a bad nose job. It was just very clear cut, concise, but it didn't blow up, which I really liked.
I can respect that. Yeah. I can respect that they had enough respect to not let something so stupid escalate at a child's birthday. That's not going to be their last argument. That's not going to be their last
for sure
situation, knowing Jen's mouth. And like I said, Jennifer knows what she's doing by having these one-on-ones with Margaret and her friends. Or people who, Margaret and her friends, because they're essentially, because Rachel doesn't have a problem with Margaret, but Jen coincidentally went to Rachel to talk about Dolores, who is actually friends with Rachel. So,
yes.
Yeah, I think Jennifer's like, I only can handle one problem with one person at a time. Let me just squash this thing with Rachel and focus what I need to focus on, which is Dolores and Margaret.
You know what I was trying to squash?
I'm afraid to ask.
And this has to do with Valentina's birthday party. I need to know how Danielle is surrounding herself with so many beautiful people, because I took a screenshot of this man. So anybody know he was at the party and he was in the background and the cameraman grazed over him very quickly. But can we just talk about how fine he is?
Maybe that's the brother you've been looking for. Maybe that's the Maybe that's Nate's brother that you've been looking for. I'm just
Well,
saying,
he
you did just
does. If
ask.
you zoom in, he does have a ring.
Okay. Yeah,
But
that
if
could
you
be.
zoom out far enough and you hold the camera far enough, you can't see it. But if anybody who sees this episode knows who that is, go ahead and tag them in the comments below. And while you're there, make sure you press subscribe. Make sure you head over to Bree's page, give her a follow her business entrepreneurships, follow her journey on her purchasing her house. She also has her Amazon store up. It's a link in her bio and her Instagram. You can find it. You can go shopping. You can get her looks. As I said, she's a host, she's a fashionista, a stylist, an entrepreneur, and she is doing it. She's also a Black-owned business. So please go support that because we love to support minorities in what we're doing as we're succeeding.
I
We
love
love to share the
you.
wealth. And if you know me and you haven't followed me already, I don't know why you haven't. Because as soon as you do, I'm going to call you out. But go ahead and follow me anyways. Press subscribe right here below. And with that, thank you for joining us. We're going on to the next topic, which is Jen Fessler throws brunch, which I thought this is going to be cute. It's going to be quaint. Jen Fessler is she's neutral ground.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody might have enough respect for her to not fight at her house.
Why would you think that?
Just because there's some power players in the world where, just in the world in general, not even the world of Housewives, but just in the world where you don't cross them because they're going to tear you up. Like my mom is one of those people. Like you do not argue on my mom's grounds because she will get everybody's heads and she will bang them together. And then you're going to be scratching your head wondering what happened. So I thought Jen Fessler might be that person where everyone's like, you know what, this is Jen's house. Let's not do it here. Maybe in the, I don't know, in the front yard or on the phone maybe, but not actually at a nice brunch that had biscuits and chicken and all the things that I love. Because let me tell you,
biscuits and chicken.
If you mess up a brunch, that I'm at, I'm stealing your plate and then I'm going to steal your man.
So, first of all, I knew Jen wasn't that girl from when they had that argument at Danielle's house between Dolores and Jennifer Aydin. And she tried to come in, Jen Fessler tried to come in and say, guys, you're arguing the same points. You're not hearing each other. And both Dolores and Jennifer stopped their argument to basically tell her mind her business. And Dolores was like, Jen, wrong place, wrong people to do it with. Not here. And she shut up and she turned around and she stuffed her face with that mozzarella. So I knew Jen was not that girl for anybody to be like, oh, let's respect her house. No.
And she went in on like it fell out of her mouth.
She was going crazy. She was going crazy. She was like, I mean, I can't get a word in, so I might as well just put food in it.
I would love for a housewife to come in with that stance though, with enough strength to shut everybody down.
Same.
Like, babe, I will carry you out of my house. Do not press me. Like Big Ange from Mob Wives, R.I.P.
Yes.
I feel like would be the one.
Yes, because she's also very neutral, but she just has a dominating presence. Her presence is just naturally strong, so you listen when she speaks. And when Jen did insert herself, I got that feeling like, oh, she might be able to, neutralize this situation. Yeah. But then once I saw their reaction and then the way she handled she reacted to their reaction, I was like, oh, I guess she's not going to be the one.
I'd have been like, who the hell are you talking to?
Yeah. But nobody wants to
burn down this whole house.
And then Danielle's going to be like, But the thing is also people don't want a problem with Dolores either.
That's true. And you know what I thought when the season first dropped was that Dolores was going to be the lead the entire season. That's why in the intro, it's Dolores and Teresa, because I feel like Dolores is almost the new lead because she has a new man. She she does have a dominant presence,
Mm-hmm.
and she's not scared to fight with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought maybe she was gonna lead this season, aside from Teresa, because like we could tell by the teaser, it was Teresa's wedding, and it was always gonna be Teresa's show this season. But I
Mm-hmm.
would like to see someone else kind of spearhead it. And Dolores was hosting a lot of events right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
And Dolores still has another event coming up, which is the
The baseball.
Brooklyn baseball. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, maybe this is going to be a time for Dolores to shine. You know, she got her work done. It looks very good. She got her teeth whitened. That looks good. You know, I wish I
I
knew my teeth
think
whitened.
I I see where you would I see what you're saying,
Mm-hmm.
but I think that Dolores's story right now is too fresh to expect her to lead the season because she really just got her man. Like, I think she needs to season herself a little bit more with carrying, like with creating more of a storyline independently within her family and herself. And maybe if she took on a business venture or something, then I could see her leading the season. Um, but I think it's too fresh for her right this season to expect that.
I actually I see her moving very fast with Paul. Like
Me
in the
too.
in the short term, I see Paul pulling
Mhm.
out a ring next season, and I see that
Yes.
being the storyline of the engagement party of next
Yes.
year.
I see that. I definitely see next year being Dolores' season.
Mm.
Definitely. I can definitely see that if Paul plays his cards right, which I mean, there's no reason for him not to because they're like two peas in a pod at this point.
I like him, and I had this conversation with Ronnie, and we'll get to the chaos at Jen Fessler's house in just a second because I want to know your opinion on if you think they were both hitting below the belt.
Mhm.
But what I would like to see with Paul and Frank are for them to be two peas in a pod and remove Dolores from the situation. I love Dolores, but I feel like man to man, you have a young man, which is Frankie, who's going to need a lot of influence and guidance throughout his years. He has a
Mhm.
great start on him. He has a great head on his shoulders. He has a great job, all these things going for him, but he's going to hit these crossroads, and some are more comfortable to talk to your own father about than others.
Yeah.
And I would like to see Frank and Paulie have this really unbreakable relationship of like, Dolores, we don't need you. Like, we're going to go do our thing. I don't need you to be and like the reason I'm so hopeful about this is because out of all the relationships and divorces that I know about, for some reason, the ex-husband and ex-wife cannot get it together, even if it's for the children. Like they cannot make it happen. I think Frank and Dolores did a great job of that, but now I
Mhm.
think Dolores should remove herself or should be removed, and Paul needs to step into that relationship, and them two need to have a joint venture together. As in, like, you know what? We're gonna take the boys out. It's just gonna be Paul, Frank, and Frankie.
Mhm.
We're gonna have a good time. We're gonna be in his life for the rest of his life. We're gonna
Mhm.
give him some advice, as in what it's like to grow older and mature into this role of your next stages in life.
Mhm.
And I don't think, despite what we see in the seasons coming up, that Frank needs Dolores and wants to be around Dolores. I don't think that relationship needs to happen anymore. I think they can still have Thanksgivings, Christmas, holidays together so that,
Be normal exes.
yes, but I
Mhm.
think it would be great, and it would be a great example for men all over the place, gay, straight, non-binary, um, to see a relationship like that happen, because exes happen more often than less now, and they often include dogs, which people are considering children, and then also include children.
Mhm. I
So
agree.
I would love to see that happen, and I would.
Mhm.
This is far fetched, but had they had a good relationship for like years and years and years, I would have loved to see Frank be Paulie's best man.
That's a reach. But it's not impossible. It's not. I only say that because I'm basing it off of their current relationship.
Yes,
But
yes, yes, yes. Of
to
course.
your point, you
Yeah,
said years and years. I maybe like
yeah,
it's not impossible at all
yeah.
because I feel like Frank and Paul could really get along. I feel like they could bounce off of each other and give each other shit in the same way Frank does with Joe.
Yeah.
Because I think Paul knows how to give it back. He knows how to take it. because you have to have that type of personality when you're dealing with a woman like Dolores anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see that happening. They have great potential to have a like normal, durable relationship. I think right now, and I'm just assuming, I feel like what's his name? Frankie
Mm-hmm.
might be a little bit more reluctant to have a close relationship with Paul because he might feel a sense of loyalty towards his father because he
Mm.
knows Frank doesn't have a great relationship. Because David and Frank are very easy. Like, they don't need to be supervised. They have a brotherhood. And so
Yeah.
that makes it easy for Frankie to be open with David also.
Yeah.
Versus you see in the scene with Frankie talking to Dolores and Frank, and he seems a little bit more not team Frank, but kind of more team Frank, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
It just gave kind of like he wasn't too crazy about Paul. And
Mm.
I think Frank's view of Paul plays a role in Frankie's view of Paul.
Yeah.
So I think I feel like Dolores needs to do more mediating, to be honest. I feel like Dolores, instead of removing herself completely, because she is the common denominator between these two men, she needs to explain to Paul why it's important for them to have some type of relationship with Frank. Because Dolores is just like, well, this is what Paul wants, so this is what it is.
That's a good point. And you bring up an interesting point because I haven't seen her be submissive with anybody yet.
Right.
And she's very submissive with Paul.
Mm-hmm.
And I have not seen that side of her. So that's a good point, and that's a good thing to keep in my forefront on these next
Mm-hmm.
episodes, so I can see it at a different perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Because I hadn't been recognizing what was going on in front of me, and it's Dolores being submissive for the first time. We haven't
Mm-hmm.
seen it because David was very submissive.
Yes.
And Frank knows that if he steps out of line, not only is he out of a show, but Dolores will cut him off again like she did the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's been the power player the whole time. And this
Mm-hmm.
is the first time she's kind of letting someone else take the reins.
Yes. And
Mm.
that's why it's so uncomfortable for Frank, because I don't even think Frank really, even if he did experience Dolores in that submissive phase, that was
Mhm.
before he did all the cheating and they had the kids and stuff like that. So he's never had Dolores in that submissive way for all like decades. So
Yeah.
now that she's bringing that side of her out for another man, he doesn't know how to handle that. And then on top of that, Dolores is so confusing because it's kind of like she just goes with the flow with any man she's with. Because if you ask Dolores last time when she was with David, she's like, David wants to move slow. He doesn't want to do this. He doesn't want to be around. I'm fine with it. I'm fine. I'm okay. I'm okay. I don't need that. And then you see Paul come in with like 180 energy from David, and now she's saying the same thing. I really like that he wants me around all the time. I really like this. We're always spending time together. So it's kind of like, Dolores, do you even really know what type of man you want or what you want in general?
Well, I can tell you with that, we know what kind of men we want.
Mm.
And it's Nate and it's
Ow!
Evan. And we want Joe to be cooking us some food in the kitchen.
Yeah, and he can stay in the kitchen with his crybaby ass. Because I'm through with this grown man.
Look, I'm just through with the whole storyline of Joe and Teresa hate each other. Joe and Teresa hate. It's been 10 years of Joe and Teresa hating each other.
Yeah, exactly. Get a storyline.
And I'm like, I will let Andy know next time I run into him, because I did run into him at Sydney Pride.
Okay, there you
We were
go.
right next to
Deliver
each
the
other, and Shayna
message.
was like, "Is that Andy Cohen?" And I was like, "No." And I'm like, "That is Andy Cohen." And Andy Cohen is buff. He's buff. Like, he lifts, and you wouldn't know this because they put him in oversized suits all the time. but he had like arms out, right? And I was like, okay, Andy, somebody's been
Well,
eating his whey protein.
tell Andy I said I know that these questions being asked at the reunions are not from fans, and I know it's questions he wants to, talking about Marissa from Daytona wants to know why Candace is such a bitch. No, Andy, that's what you want to know. Stop lying.
Well, if he removes himself from the situation, he doesn't have to be responsible. But that's what causes chaos. And speaking of chaos, it is time to talk about the final scene, which was Jennifer Aydin versus Margaret.
Ooh.
What do we think about that whole argument? Do you feel like they were hitting below the belt?
I don't believe in hitting below the belt, to be honest.
Why?
If you give me a reason, I'm gonna go off. You invited me. You invited that energy, especially if you know my mouth.
Okay.
You want it. So I'm gonna give it to you.
I feel like I only go below the belt when you start coming down on me, then I meet you, I'll match you. So I always try to keep it cordial, and when we get a little elevated, I go ahead and elevate myself a little bit more. When we get a little elevated, I elevate myself more. But if you hit below the belt and you come for me, I didn't send for you, so now I'm coming for you. So
that's a healthy way to go.
I try to go, and then I get petty with it. So I'll make sure that you know that I am the winner, even days after. I'm gonna let you, or the next time we run into each other, I'm gonna let you know that I won and that you did not win.
See, I want to hit you with both. I want to hit you hard from the get-go so we can avoid everything else. You won't even want to go further because I already hit you. So we just saved a whole 5-minute argument and turned that into 20 seconds because I got you.
I was like really torn on how to feel because I mean, you saw Melissa and she put her like little napkin up and she looked to the left like, oh my gosh. And Jen, like, that's a sore subject with Margaret about her family and like not having family and the kids. And she's and Margaret is, in my opinion, Margaret is an open book.
Yeah.
And she lets a lot roll off the back, even when she is angry or upset. Like, she kind of jokes about herself, and she doesn't take herself too seriously. So when Jennifer brought that up, I'm like, you are dirty. Like, you are so dirty. Like, so dirty. You know what I mean? Like, your man, and I want to know, this infidelity happened years ago, but at any time was he unfaithful during the filming process of Housewives, and Jennifer didn't know? Because let me tell you, as a doctor, as a certified, no, I'm not certified anything, but as all my seasons of Grey's Anatomy, I know that it is very easy for a doctor to get easy access to a room and lock themselves in there for a consultation.
Okay.
Especially if you want to get an augmentation, a Brazilian butt lift. You have access to these things. It only takes a few minutes.
So you feel like you allegedly could have been like messing around at work because he has the accessibility.
He has the accessibility. Jennifer is tied up with filming. They got a nanny. Like, this is the perfect storm. Like they said in Sex and the City 2, the Jude Law.
I think I would hope that Bill isn't stupid enough to do that, knowing that they're on a very public platform. But he wouldn't be the first house husband to do it if he did.
Let me tell you, we are in the season of tide turning for Bravo celebrities with the whole Vanderpump Rules scandal that's going on right now.
Yeah.
With Tom and Raquel. Tom and Raquel. I'm mixing casts. Tom and Raquel. And then we have the other franchise, Southern Charm.
Hmm.
Now that has a scandal that's going on.
But I think the Real Housewives scandal is going to be Melissa and Joe.
Do you
I don't
think?
think it's
Do you
going to
think
be
Joe?
Bill.
Like, what kind of scandal?
I think Melissa has a boyfriend. I think Melissa cheats on Joe on the regular.
Do you think? Wait. Do you think she cheats, or do you think they have an open relationship that we haven't heard about?
I think she cheats. I think she cheats. That's
No.
I think she cheats. That's why. Because if you remember, whenever like they would talk about their relationship back in the day, how
Uh-huh.
jealous they would be of each other, and they always had to be together because they didn't want to be out of each other's sight because they were just like so like wrapped up in each other. But most of the time, relationships like that are centered around insecurity because of infidelity. And I feel like it's just a pattern of behavior. I feel like Melissa has a boyfriend.
Well, there was that rumor, and I forgot what his name was. I looked into it,
Hmm.
and it's a friend of Joe and Melissa's. Very handsome,
Hmm.
gorgeous. And that was a rumor to be Melissa's boyfriend. It ended up being
Mm.
false.
Hmm.
Because he came forth and he like had a statement, I think it was, and he's like, no, like this is strictly professional. But interesting that you think Melissa has a boyfriend.
I do. I honestly, I feel like they overcompensate for.
Like how long running? Like, are we talking like a
uh,
fling? Are we talking about an
no,
entanglement? Are we talking
I think it's
about
a full-blown entanglement. I feel like Melissa has a guy that is her go-to when she gets the opportunity to see him. Probably, I'm sure he's not even in Jersey. He's probably like somewhere in New York or like not upstate New York, but somewhere in New York or maybe Philly that she can go to when she wants a break from Joe and his
I
small man
am
energy.
shook. I don't believe that. I don't think
And
she has a
that's
man. Let me
and
ask her.
that's
Hold on. Let me call her.
look, and that's why she wasn't shocked when Jennifer went to her at the brunch and was talking to her about her and Margaret and rumors and all this other stuff about the basketball player. I think that's why Melissa wasn't shocked when Jennifer came to her about it.
I
Watch,
don't
watch.
think that's the case.
Okay.
I don't think that's the case. I think maybe they might have had a little fun and they're like, let that slide because that's very trendy.
Melissa
But I
would
don't
ever let Joe do that.
really.
I don't think she would ever let Joe do that.
But I think,
Ever.
let's hold on. Let's get rid of the chaos at Jen Fessler's house because this is a much better
Okay.
conversation than that.
Okay.
Let me find that slide and turn it off. Okay, slide is off. Let me make another slide really quick, and we're gonna call it the scandal. Hold on.
The scandal.
I don't even know how to spell scandal. SCAND. Is it ALELLE?
S S SCANDAL.
Scandal. Okay, yeah, that looks right. Well, let's do this as the type that ticks. Wait a minute, where it runs across the bottom like it's in like
Like
it's an
breaking
E
news.
News special. The
The
scandal.
scandal.
Oh
This is
my,
the theory.
this is juicy. I'm glad I got my big November mug out. Lord.
Yes, I think that's what the situation is. I feel like that's why they overcompensate for just like how lovey-dovey they are, and Joe loves talking about sex. All he talks about is his sex and his wiener, and he's like constant, like a horn dog, like a little teenage guy. Um, I don't think they have sex on the regular the way that they try to make it seem like they do. I feel like they're lacking in the romance department, and I think she gets that fulfillment from him. And I think Joe is too pig-headed and into himself to fathom the idea of her like having an affair.
I don't know which way to run.
In circles.
I'm beside myself right now, like entirely beside myself.
That's my theory. That's my theory.
Oh my God. I don't know what to think.
Because it's like, why not? I mean, Margaret said it herself. She's like, you can have any guy you want. You can have a basketball player. And I didn't hear at any point Melissa turn that idea down in her explanation.
Oh, this is a lot
Like,
to
did you? Maybe
consider.
I'm missing it, because if someone comes to me and says, I heard Margaret saying that you could have any guy you want, you could have an affair with a basketball player, the first thing I would say is, what would I have an affair for if I'm happy in my marriage and I have Joe? But Melissa didn't say anything like that. She agreed that that was said. And so I feel like that's a red flag.
Well, I don't know where red flags come from, but I know I dated a few people from there. And it also looks like a theme park, and it looks like it can be fun. So I mean,
It
I
can
like
be
that.
fun. You just can't stay too long.
Oh my God. I don't
That's
even
what
know. I don't even have a response. I'm like,
I don't know. These are just fan theories. I'm a fan.
fan theory. Fans are saying this?
Yeah. Go on TikTok.
Oh my God.
Like, yes. I mean,
That took like my whole, just every, like that took.
So you can't picture at all Melissa having an affair?
Hold on. I need to feel better for a minute.
Okay. Get your medicine. Be reminded of
Hold
what
on.
a
I need more
happy.
than one at this point. I just need,
Is that Frank in his
yeah.
hand? Goodbye. I'm weak.
Okay.
I could never picture that.
Okay. I feel like Joe and Melissa are they're a trendy, newer age couple.
Mm-hmm.
I could see them having NDAs signed and them having a little swingers moment on vacation, or them having access to a side piece when they want one. But do I think romantically that they want to be with someone else? I don't think that's the case.
Romantically, like if one would leave the other for someone else?
Yes.
Oh yeah, no, I don't see that either.
I don't see that, but I could see here we go. Hold on. Let me do a turn.
Okay.
It's at the full 360 moment. Okay.
Okay.
I could see Joe being turned on by Melissa doing things with somebody else, and I could see Melissa being relieved by Joe getting it somewhere else so that she doesn't have to do all the work. And I could see them allowing these things to happen, people signing NDAs, that way it doesn't get out to the public. And because, they've been together for a minute. Let's call the spade the spade. Been together for a minute. Sometimes you're like, this is getting a little dusty. I need a little something fresh. You need a revamp of something, right? And maybe toys weren't enough, and maybe toys aren't doing it for them. And Joe is a freak. Okay, we've seen that since day one.
Joe likes to act like he's a freak.
I think Joe is a freak.
You think Joe is for real a freak?
I think Joe is like picking Melissa up and throwing them over her shoulder and just.
What I think Melissa is the freak. She likes to act like she's a prude. And it's always those prudes that be the freakiest ones in the bunch.
You are sending my emotions for a roller coaster today. I don't know. I don't know what to think. Andy Cohen, we need to hear. We need to know about the scandal. We need you to bring us on Watch What Happens Live. We need to be bartenders because we need you to ask this question to Melissa and Joe from a Midwest viewer on Twitter who wants to know if Joe and Melissa got a side piece, and we want to know from Georgina from Wisconsin if Melissa's boyfriend or Melissa has a boyfriend, because I am beside myself.
I think, and I also feel like Joe is too old school Italian to be okay with something like that.
I don't think he's that old school though. I think he's I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
I say
We'll see.
y'all been together for over 17 years now, right?
That's even more reason for her to be like, I gotta go get this new thing.
But that's the thing. I say you've been together for a minute. Things might be getting a little stale, like some Girl Scout cookies that have been sitting in the pantry for a couple years that you forgot about. And it might be your favorite flavor, but you might want to try the new flavor, but you might want to watch your wife try the new flavor. Because
I
Joe
can't
is like,
see.
Joe is just hitting himself with hot dogs and everything on boys' night. He's kissing Frank. He's touching Frank's booty. Like, I'm telling you, I think Joe is into, it wouldn't be voyeurism, right? It would be
It's voyeur if he's just watching her and not
just watching and
participating.
not partaking.
Yes.
I
You
feel
think
like
Joe
Joe
like
could be a
that?
voyeur.
Okay. If he does have a kink, I feel like that's as far as it would go, is being a voyeur.
I'm shook that I'm even
Because
coming up with anything.
Because I feel like Joe, I don't know, just as in my experience, the men who have talked the biggest game have nothing to offer in the bedroom. Nothing that matches what they talk about. But the guy who's chill, doesn't say much, you probably even really wouldn't look at twice, or even gives much personality, is tearing that thing up. And Joe does not give that. Joe does not give that.
Ooh. This is something I got to get back on TikTok. I need to stop working my day job. I need to stop
Yes.
clocking in like I actually
Quit.
care about the hours.
Quit is
Look,
what you need to do.
if this video gets 1 million views, I'm out. And I will be here full time, and I will come on every day, and I will show you all the news that I find on TikTok, and I will bring the TikTokers on and see where they got their theories from, because
That's a legit show.
ooh,
That would be a legit show.
we're gonna
It's a
call it
lot.
theories on TikTok.
I wish we had one for Real Housewives of Potomac, because I got some theories about that too. That's a different show.
Wow. Okay. Well, we have reached the end of our show. It's been an hour and 37 minutes of realness and fun. And Bree, thank you so much for being here. Do
Thank
you
you for
want
having
to
me.
mention? Of course. And we're going to bring you back because I want to see you shake up Ronnie, because I know Ronnie is going to be even more beside himself than I am.
Yes.
What do you want people to know? What do you want them? Do you want them to check out your shop? I know you have so much going on, so let them know the most important things in the order that you want.
Yes. Okay. So I definitely want everybody to follow me on Instagram. It's the sign at it's B_ like Beyonce, the name you see there. Go ahead and go in my bio. I have a link in there. Everything you need to know is in there. Like Russell said, my Amazon storefront, my TikTok page, where I'm going to be creating a new style series that I'm strategizing and is up and coming. my social content with beauty and the media company I work for, Refinery 29, and just keep up with everything you need to know, style, fashion, beauty, all that stuff. It's in my bio.
And y'all can find me all over the internet at Russell X Raymond. You can find me on Peacock TV. I create the escape. So if you just want to escape your kids, leave them in the living room, put that on, let me entertain them there. You watch Housewives and come watch me here at Russell X Raymond. And just y'all gotta send me more of these theories because I am shook. I don't know where to go with this.
I
And
got
so since we
you.
don't know where to go, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go home for now and we're gonna regroup my thoughts. But until then, thank you for giving us your time today. Thank you for joining us. And if you are catching this at a later time and you didn't catch it live, leave your comments. Let me know your theories. Let me know what you think. DM me, follow Bree, follow me. And until then, we will see you next time.